Have you ever had a night where you told yourself, tonight's going to be different? I'm going to go to sleep early. I'm going to stay off my phone. I'm not going to spiral. And then what happens is 3 hours later, you're lying there at 1 in the morning and you're replaying the same conversation, the same moment, the same version of yourself you swore you were done being. And the worst part is it's not the first time, right? It's the 100th. And you start to wonder, what is wrong with me? And here's your answer. Nothing's wrong with you, but something is running you. And until you understand what is running you, it will keep winning. That's what you have to know. And those of you that are listening this, and this has been a helpful podcast for you, drop a sub, drop a comment, drop a question. A couple clicks from you transforms a dad's life because it feeds them this podcast. We're going to transform 1 million dads. I can't do it alone. And I need your help. Thank you in advance for doing that. Thank you for making that happen. Thank you for sharing it with another dad who's in that same spot, even if it's a little bit behind you. Thank you. Let's dig into what the heck this loop is, because I was there as well. I had those moments, and there was even things that I was doing I'm not proud of. I'm not boastful of. Some of those were drinking, or some of those were, having a weed gummy because I didn't want to, hear my thoughts anymore. I just wanted to zone out. And I was talking with people about it and sharing it, but there wasn't an accountability structure and I wasn't breaking the loop. We're going to dig into that today. I'm going to give you something practical today that you can do to interrupt this loop, change it, transform it, not just outthink it. You will not outthink it. It will not happen, which is probably why you're in the state that you're in. Every divorced dad has this loop, okay? It's a pattern that keeps repeating, and it's not weakness. It's not failure. It's how your brain operates. And you got to remember, dads, you're in this state, and maybe it's been a couple months, maybe it's been a year, whatever it might be. But you also have to remember your brain's been working off of decades of loops, decades of things that have been wired in, thoughts that have never been interrupted. They've never been challenged, and they've never been transformed, excuse me, into the right thought and the right action. After trauma, the brain creates a neural groove. It's a path of least resistance. One of the ways that I think best illustrates what this looks like is if you can imagine a giant wheel of cheese and a hot marble that goes through that cheese. The first time the hot marble goes through it, creates a hole. Well, then when you drop it again, it creates a little bit of a bigger hole and a bigger hole and a bigger hole and bigger hole. And all of a sudden it's just flying through. And you have these holes. These are these grooves in your brain of why you ruminate, why you think about the same thought, why it comes back. They say neurons that fire together, they wire together. So every time you repeat the pattern, you deepen that groove. That hole gets larger. That hole gets easier for it to get through. In the beginning, it's more difficult. It takes a little bit of time for that hot marble to go through there. And this is why willpower alone never works. You can get some on some good runs with willpower motivation, but it's not going to sustain you. You can't out-discipline a groove that took years to build. You need a pattern interrupt. And you don't need more motivation. This is the real behind the scenes of what's going on, right? This is what's really happening in your brain, and you can change it. And thankfully, you can. And so the first thing is this other idea that I have about what's happening in your brain. And my son just recently got a record player, and he's kind of into it, and it's cool. It's, I got into some old records in high school as well. And, those of you that get into that, you get records. It's cool. It's fun, right? But if you picture this old record player and you picture this old vinyl record, it has grooves that are pressed into it, right? And you put it on and the needle drops and it follows the groove automatically. It just circles and it circles and it circles. There's no decision. There's no choice. It's just the groove and it's circling. That's your brain after divorce. The needle drops, stress, loneliness, exchange day, maybe a text from your ex, maybe something you see, a toy from your child, a moment in your phone, a picture that gets things rolling. It's a groove. It's a groove. And without realizing it, you're in the groove again. Same thought, same spiral, same 1 a.m. version of yourself when you're just under attack and you are exhausted. The goal isn't to destroy the record. You don't just take the record and blow it up. It's to press a new groove. Press a new groove. If there's something that you can hear today from this message, it's press a new groove. Okay. The new groove is going to take repetition, but it starts with one interruption. Just like I mentioned before, that hot marble going through cheese, we've got to create a new hot marble to go through the cheese for the right thought and the right way to do this. So what does this look like practically, right? I'm going to give you a tool and we're going to work this out. I hope that you would just replay this again and get these things. 3 things, really easy, 3 steps. You can use it tonight. You should use this every single day. You should know these loops and you should transform these loops because it'll transform your life. Change your loops, change your life. Press a new groove. That's what we're getting into. So step 1 is name the trigger. What dropped the needle? And you got to be specific. Was it exchange day? Was it a text? Was it you started doing some, scrolling and got into some other people's stuff and saw what they were doing? Because you can't interrupt what you haven't named. And one of the ways that I say this is you got to get it out of your head. And I would even say not just name the trigger, but put the trigger on a piece of paper. Take a white sheet of paper, put a line down the middle. What is that trigger? What is that moment for you? What does it sound like? What does the moment sound like? Because if you can't get specific with what it sounds like, then we cannot engineer that to go the right direction. Okay. The second thing you're going to do is you got to change your state. We're going to break the physical state because the loop lives in the body first, then it's in the mind. So you need a physical pattern to interrupt before this mental one. One of the things that really helps me, some people are, breathing, or they'll stand up, or they'll go outside, or they'll do some kind of activity to break the state. For me, I'm a walker. I like to break the state with walking. I'll get out, I'll start walking. As I'm walking, it's about resetting this nervous system. It's about resetting, reprogramming what's going on. The body leads and the mind flows. So we got to get the body moving or breathing, if that's what you prefer to do. But you got to do one of the two. You got to get the thought, then we're going to move. And here's the third one. We got to replace it with the right intention. We got to transform the thought into the right thought, right? So you can't just, in Corinthians, it says that we take every thought and make it obedient to what God says about us. So what's the intention? The brain hates a vacuum. If you remove the loop, you have to replace it with something else. You have a go-to prayer. Those of you in the school group, you know that we have affirmations, we have declarations. It could be a voice memo to yourself that you've created. It could be a text to an accountability partner, something that moves you toward who you're becoming, not away from who you are. This is how the new groove gets pressed. We can't just outthink the old thought. We then, I would say, on the same piece of paper, on the other side, you are writing out the correct thought of what you want to think about in this situation. If it's, I'm not good enough, on the other side, you have the thought, I'm more than able. I have all the tools I need to be able to solve this problem. I am more than enough. I am more than a conqueror. I am the head, not the tail. I am a champion. I am. Greatness is within me, right? I have the mind of Christ. Whatever those are for you, it's taking the old thought, replacing with the new one. The old one is, I don't have enough money. I always feel broke. Well, I have everything I need to provide more than enough income for my children and my family. I have more than enough. I am an incredible asset that generates revenue and generates opportunities and generates the right people. Psalms 37 says we're in the right place, right time, right people. This is how the old thought gets transformed into the new thought. In Romans, it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Daily, If you go into secular worlds, they would say the same thing. Your thought has to become a new thought, has to be transformed. You don't try harder. You don't try and feel better. You need to renew, which also means to replace. It's not motivation, it is a strategy. And what is amazing about this strategy is that then every negative thought is engineered to be positive energy and a positive moment in your life. There's something that I do recently that's been helpful for me. Is there's another verse in scripture that talks about that the birds don't wonder about what they eat or drink, that God takes care of them. And how much greater are we than the birds of the air? Every time I hear a bird singing around my neighborhood, I just think about I'm taken care of. I have more than I need. I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people. Every negative thought then becomes an engineering moment for greatness. That is what this is about. That is a system. It's not a strategy of hope. It is a system that's based on biblical values. It's based on neuroscience, and it's based on you becoming the man that you've always been, the man that's in there, the guy that is climbing out the ascent. And you know what? It's not something that is for somebody else. And it's for you. And it's for right now. No more waiting. Every single thought, get it out on a piece of paper. All of the negative ones, write them out, look at them, observe them, dissect them. And your strategy of your new thoughts are on the other side. Get moving, get on a walk, do some push ups, do some breathing. Your greatness is on the other side of that. Drifters, they stay in this loop because they think that's just who they are. And builders interrupt the loop because they know who they're becoming is worth the discomfort. The loop isn't your identity, guys. It's just a groove hasn't been replaced yet. But that's what we're working on. It starts tonight, and it starts with you. Again, if this hit you in some way, some form or fashion, drop a sub, send it to somebody, comment, ask a question. This is going to impact thousands and I believe millions of dads. That's going to transform them simply by you doing a couple clicks and saying, hey, I want to help somebody else out on this journey. Thank you in advance, guys. Can't do it without you. And we're going to change this. And dads are going to transform because of you. It starts tonight. God bless you. I'll see you in the next one.